in a quiet little town where the mornings were painted with the golden hues of sunrise and the evenings hummed with the chirping of crickets, there was a small park. In the little town sat an old bench that had seen everything except this. The park wasn't much to look at, just a swing set, a slide, and a weathered wooden bench. But on that bench, something extraordinary began to unfold. Every morning, like clockwork, 62-year-old Margaret would arrive at the park. She'd sit on that bench, her hands wrapped around a thermos of tea, and watch the world go by. Margaret had lived in the town her whole life. She was a woman of routine, of quiet strength, and though her children had long since moved away, she found solace in the simplicity of her days. One Saturday morning, as Margaret settled into her usual spot, she noticed a little boy no more than 9 years old, dribbling a basketball near the playground. His name was Elijah, and he had a smile that could light up the darkest room. Elijah was new to the neighborhood, and though he didn't know many kids yet, he had a way of making friends with anyone who crossed his path. 62-year-old Margaret, with a thermos beside her, she watches Elijah curiously. Margaret yelled, "You've got heart, kid." "But that free throw? You'd miss Game 7. Elijah said with a smile, "You've been scouting me." It started with a little sass and a lot of curiosity. And just like that, a conversation began. Elijah, with his boundless energy and curiosity, asked Margaret about her life, her family, and why she loved sitting on that bench. Margaret, in turn, listened to the little boy Elijah's stories about his favorite superheroes, his dreams of playing in the NBA, and how he missed his old friends back home. Elijah, enjoying the conversation, moved to the bench across the way, smiled, and said, "Miss Margaret, can I wear your sweater?" Margaret said, "Sure, you can. I don't see why not." Day after day, Elijah would join Margaret on the bench. Sometimes he'd bring his basketball and show off his latest moves. Other times he'd sit and talk, his small hands gesturing wildly as he told her about his day at school. Margaret, who had once thought her days of laughter and adventure were behind her, found herself looking forward to their time together. One rainy afternoon, Margaret brought an extra umbrella in case Elijah arrived, and sure enough, there he was, running through the drizzle with his basketball tucked under his arm. They sat together under the shelter of the park's old oak tree, sharing stories and cookies from Margaret's purse. Elijah handed her the basketball to try spinning it. They're laughing as she fumbles the ball. Margaret showed him how to breathe and visualize before a shot. As the weeks turned into months, their friendship deepened. Margaret became a grandmother figure, offering wisdom and encouragement when he needed it most, and Elijah, with his infectious joy, reminded Margaret that life was still full of wonder and possibility. Every afternoon, a boy chasing a dream and a woman full of stories met on that bench. They didn't look alike. They didn't talk the same. But somehow, they understood each other completely. Elijah sits beside Margaret after a long practice, looking defeated. Elijah, softly, "What if I'm not good enough?" Margaret, gently, "Then you keep going until you are. Greatness isn't perfect, it's persistent." She didn't just believe in him, she reminded him to believe in himself. One day, Elijah invited Margaret to watch him play in his first basketball game. She sat in the stands, her heart swelling with pride as he dribbled down the court, his determination shining brighter than ever. Elijah is at the free throw line. He closes his eyes, breathes like Margaret taught him, shoots, Swish, he turns to Margaret, clapping proudly from the bench. When he scored his first basket, he looked up at her and grinned. And in that moment, Margaret knew their bond was truly special. That day, he didn't just make the shot. He became the player he always knew he could be. In a world that often feels divided, Margaret and Elijah found connection in the most unexpected places. A simple bench in a small-town park. Their friendship was a reminder that kindness knows no age, color, or boundaries. It was a testament to the power of listening, sharing, and seeing the beauty in one another. Years later, NBA locker room, a framed photo in a locker, young Elijah and Margaret on the bench. Elijah James for three, he hits it. The crowd roars. He made it, just like he said he would, and every time the lights came on, he carried her with him. Sometimes, the biggest dreams begin in the smallest places, with someone who simply believes. And so, as the seasons changed and the years rolled by, Margaret's living room, early evening. The room is cozy, softly lit by golden hour sunlight through the window. A well-worn thermos sits on the coffee table. Family photos and books line the shelves. The old park bench photo of Margaret and Elijah rests in a frame nearby. The front door opens gently. Elijah, now 22, tall and athletic in his NBA warm-up jacket, steps inside. He still has the same warm smile and bright eyes, just a little older now. Margaret, smiling, rising from her chair. Elijah, look at you. I swear you grow another inch every time I see you. Elijah, grinning, might be the sneakers. But I brought you something. He steps forward and reveals a pristine NBA basketball, covered in autographs. One name stands out, big and bold, Elijah number 9. Margaret, oh my goodness, is that Elijah? It's for you, from the whole team, but mostly from me. He gently places the ball in her hands. Margaret is stunned, eyes misty. Margaret, Elijah, I don't even know what to say. Elijah, you don't have to say anything. That bench, those mornings, that's where it all started for me. This ball, this dream, you're part of it. You always will be. They both smile. Margaret gently holds the ball to her chest, deeply moved. Well, I guess I'll need a trophy shelf now, right next to the thermos. They both laughed. Margaret and Elijah continued to meet at their bench. It became a place of laughter, memories, and love. A quiet corner of the world where two unlikely friends found a bond that would last a lifetime. Sometimes, the most beautiful stories begin with a simple hello.